Chapter 13. Resolve. "Well, that was stressful," Sana announced cheerfully as soon as the detectives were out of earshot. Her mother's glare could have melted steel. Sana threw up her hands. "What? When were you going to tell me you've interacted with Prince Snow more than once?" "Didn't I?" "No." "Oh." Now she felt like a heel. "Sorry." "That's not..." She slumped back into her seat and pinched the bridge of her nose. "You have to tell me these things." Sana headed to the couch and flopped face down onto it. She scooped up a pillow and hugged it to her chest. Fred meowed pathetically from his perch on the window and trotted over, tail held high. Sana sighed and closed her eyes. "I told Dad. I guess I thought he told you." She was focused on Bread's paws digging into the knots in her back when her mom asked, "Why did you tell him and not me?" Oh, man. That was hurt in her voice. A dagger of guilt stabbed Sana right in the heart. She leaned her head to the side. "You were guaranteed to say no. I at least had a chance with him." Everything spiraled after that. "And right at the start, he was coming home before you. I tried to stall him. It worked as well as you'd expect, given I was running on fear." She tightened her grip on the pillow. Bread shifted, and she made an effort to relax. "You got all pinched and closed off whenever I tried to bring it up later. Da was at least willing to admit my circumstances." She forced some humor. "You got the 'so your body is going through some changes' talk. He got the 'so you've gained possession of a supervillain's weapon' talk. He'd have as much desire to talk about the first as you do about the second." The amusement was weak, and she knew it. Her mom sighed deeply. "It's not that I don't want to talk about it. Sure seems that way. Let me finish. What happened to you is terrifying, Sana. It's my worst nightmare to think of you hurt, and here you are, almost dead multiple times over and adding more to the tally. You don't even know how to use the things endangering you to protect yourself." Sana worked her hand free and let it dangle off the side of the couch. The lowest part of her sleeve disintegrated and reformed into an armband. The exercise, once she ran through a few more disguises, would be almost as calming as her usual jewelry fiddling. She couldn't see what her mom was doing, but she could hear fabric rustling as she moved. "I know you're your father's daughter, but you're my daughter too. I love you and I want you safe." Funny, that's why I went after Prince Snow yesterday. "Because I love you?" "Because I love you." The armband morphed into a fingerless glove, and Sana flexed her hand to feel the faux leather sliding over her palm. "There are maybe 6 people in Calabria I would fight a super for. You're one." "I don't want you fighting supers for anyone." Too late, Sana thought. Instead of saying that, she said, "I wouldn't have done it if your life wasn't at stake or if somebody else would have." She knew there wasn't anybody. If there was, they would have stepped in long before Swarm had a chance to. A kernel of bitter loneliness settled in her chest. "There's nobody else I could meet who's like me. I hate it." A small, selfish lie slipped out before she could stop it. "If I could give the bots to someone I trust without dying or giving them my heart problem, I would. It would make everyone happier." She made the glove grow fingers and flexed her hand again. "I don't want these things to kill me. I don't want anyone I love to die, and I don't want to be alone." At least all that was true. Her mom's footsteps approached until she was next to Sana, and Bread shifted in a way that suggested he was getting scritches. She didn't say anything, and Sana turned her head a little more to see better. She was lost in thought and focused on Bread, who was purring loudly in an in-out wave that Sana's jacket vibrations and breathing had aligned with subconsciously. Her hand was working over his ears and neck. For his part, the cat was worming his head around and leaning into the touches. It was a familiar scene, except for the troubled, pensive expression on her mom's face. Sana patted her calf, the highest part of her mom she could reach without jostling her feline passenger, and pulled the bots back to her sleeve. They stayed like that for a while. Neither Sana nor her mom were inclined to break the peace, and Bread would stay in place as long as he was being paid his due respect. Tiny bugger. Sana closed her eyes. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," her mom said. Bread purred a little louder. Sana's mom broke off eventually and retrieved her laptop from upstairs. She brought it down to the table to work, and the tack of the keys kept Sana quiet. The noise faded into the background while she pawed for the book she'd left on the coffee table. When her fingers hit the hardcover, she resigned herself to dry, technical treatises on AI and semi-recent history for as long as it took Bread to get bored. Given how he'd melted into a contented puddle, it would be a while. She managed to plow through a couple of chapters on sheer willpower before her mother's computer shrieked. Bread decided the noise was unacceptable and launched himself off Sana's back, which knocked the breath out of her. "What gives?" she shouted as she slammed her hands over her ears. Her mom typed in a command that cut the din before explaining, "Sterling's testing out a new system that sends out alerts whenever a supervillain attack hits. It's supposed to let employees know when it's safe to come in or if they should hunker down." Sana cautiously peeled one palm away from her head. "And why does it sound like rusty hubcaps being put through a blender?" "It's the default. I can change it." "Please do, preferably before it goes off again. So, what's the crisis?" "Let's see." She clicked the notification. "Prince Snow is attacking..." Her voice trailed off, and she lunged for her phone. "What? That doesn't make any sense." Super attacks and fights might be commonplace, but when a plan didn't pan out, the whack job who'd initiated it would pull back and reevaluate for at least a week, usually 2 or more. He shouldn't be attacking anywhere this soon. Well, he is. The call went to voicemail. She dialed again. "Pick up, pick up, pick up." "Who are you calling?" "Your father." "Pick up, Nico." Argh. Voicemail. Something wasn't adding up. "Why are you calling him?" "He's working at Ace Tech this week, covering for Mr. Jameson." The dots connected in an awful flash. Sana got up. "I'm going after him." "What?" Her screech rivaled the one the computer had let out. "No, absolutely not. We just talked about this." "We came to a ceasefire, not a peace agreement. I'm not letting Dad die. And I'm not letting you risk life and limb against a homicidal maniac. Do you think you can stop me?" No, that wasn't right. It wasn't what she wanted to say, but her temper was burning and she was terrified. Her mom lashed out, equally angry, and Sana realized she was probably equally scared. "Did you just threaten me?" "No, maybe. I'm sorry. I meant that I could go out a window or something, not that I'd hurt you. I'd never hurt you." Not intentionally. She was acting this way because she was angry. Sana got it, but those words cut deep. They hurt badly enough to douse her temper. Her chest felt like her mom had hollowed it out with an ice cream scoop. Her voice wavered. "I'm supposed to protect people." "Oh yeah? Who says?" "Anyone in the public eye who had an intact moral compass and an unusual ability. Even those who used their gifts to make money stepped up if creeps threatened innocence. I've done it before. I can do it again." She decided that no, she wasn't too proud to beg. "Please, Mom, please let me go. I'll take responsibility for whatever happens, but please, please let me get him out of there." Her stress shook her jacket apart, and the bots flew out and around her in a cocoon-like cloud. "I'll get people out and I'll leave. That's it." For someone with an alleged fear of the bots, Sana's mom remained remarkably steady. Unfortunately, that meant her fury hadn't burned out. She had to be getting to the end of her fire, right? We both know that's a load of bull. Prince Snow doesn't. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you'll do what he wants if he takes a hostage. Then once all the potential hostages are gone, I'll run away too. He'll follow you. I'm faster than he is. I've got skates. She hopped up and formed them to prove her point. The extra inch and a half did wonders for her confidence, as did the wide, steady stance her body fell into for balance. "If the card I played yesterday worked, he won't risk killing me. I can do this, Mom." "That's a very big if, and there are plenty of ways he could hurt you without killing you. The human body can take an incredible amount of punishment. As a doctor in the ER, she would know. It's a better chance than anyone else has. Look, the longer we go back and forth, the more danger Dad's in. Let me save him and you can yell at me afterwards." When her mom looked down and away, Sana pressed the advantage. "I know you hate this. I get it. I really do. But we'll both self-destruct without him. I have a chance to prevent that, and I'm going to take it." "Nothing I say will persuade you to stay, will it?" "No." Her mom sighed and slumped in defeat. Rage over. "Fine. Go. And Sana, come back safe." Sana smiled sadly and didn't say anything.